Hello people, so this is going to be a video on circles. I hope you can see it. If not, just zoom in. I'm just trying to fit as much as I can into this little bit, which means I'm going to have to write really small, but I hope it's legible enough. So relations, that's the first thing we're going to talk about. A relation is just any set of points which connect two variables. Now you've got your two variables. Alright, use a finer pen. Try and use a finer pen. So you've got your booklet, so hopefully this is alright. It's often expressed in the form of an equation connecting the variables x and y. That's better. Variables x and y. Alright? So for example, we have a circle. Right? And you can create an equation which represents that circle, because each circle is uniquely described by a center point and a radius. Alright? By the center point and the radius. We have two ways we can describe the equation of a circle. We can do it in standard form, which we also call center radius form, or we can do it in general form. Standard form includes the points, the coordinates for the center of the circle, and the radius. So standard form is in the form x take a all squared plus y take b all squared equals r squared. That is an r. Where AB is the coordinates of the center of the circle, and R sometimes this pen doesn't like to work. Circle, and R equals the radius. Alright, so that would be R, and that would be AB. General form is a bit like general form for the equation of a line. It doesn't really tell you very much interesting information. It's just x squared plus y squared plus ax plus by plus c equals 0. Now do remember that this c in general form is not referring to the center, it's not referring to the y-intercept, it's just referring to any constant value. So now let's do a question. And again, remember, if you can't see it, just read it off your notes. I'm sorry if I didn't get the notes. I didn't get the notes to some of you I was going to. Example 3A.1. What is the y-coordinate when x equals 1 of a circle with center -2, 1 and radius 4? If you remember when we did all those questions about lines, we did facts, figure, formula, find it, fix it. Don't skip the facts, but I'm going to. And I'm going to go straight into drawing your figure. So here we go. Here's the figure. The center is there, and it's -2, -1. And we've got a radius, and the radius is 4. So what is the coordinate, y-coordinate when x equals 1 of a circle with center -2, -1 and radius 4? If we think of this, -2, -1, that's also on an axis. We can't really do very much until we have an equation. So that's the first thing we're going to do, is find the equation of the circle. So one equation. Alright. So we've got the center of the circle. We know it's x, take, then A. A is the x-coordinate. A is the x-coordinate. So A is going to be -2. So x take -2 all squared plus y take, and B is the y-coordinate. So B here is the y-coordinate, which is -1. So it's going to be B take -1 all squared. I'm just going to erase some of this stuff over here. It's a bit messy. So it's take 1 all squared. It's going to equal r squared. R is 4, so it's going to equal 4 squared. So our equation is going to end up being x plus 2 all squared plus, because minus minus is a plus, y plus 1 all squared equals 16. That's our equation of our circle. Then we've got to find the y coordinate. Alright, so we've only done the first bit to find the y coordinate when x equals 1. Well, we've got two unknowns in this equation. If we insert the x coordinate, x equals 1, alright, so if we insert this x coordinate here, if we insert that into this equation, then we'll only have one unknown, so we can change that. So I'm going to write that down here, just because I've run out of room. Hopefully you can fit it in. 1 plus 2 all squared plus y plus 1 all squared equals 16. So I get 3 squared plus y plus 1 all squared, y plus 1 all squared equals 16. Alright, sorry that's so messy. So I want to get rid of the 3 squared because I want to get 1 its own. So I'm going to get 1 y plus 1 all squared equals 16. Take 3 squared, which is the same as 16 take 9, because 3 squared is 9, which equals 7. Alright, now I want to get rid of the squared, so I'm going to square root this. And if I square root that, I'm going to get y plus 1 equals plus or minus the square root of 7. Now again, I want to get 1 on its own, so I'm going to take 1. So I'm going to get y equals plus or minus square root of 7 take 1. Now you might be going, well, that doesn't really make sense because we've got two values for y, but you've got a circle. So if we look at where x equals 1 on this circle, so it's here, you do have two values for y. Alright, I'm going to just draw a circle. Say x equals 1 here. Alright, so let's draw this circle in. And we're going to go, when x equals 1, what are the values for y? Well, actually, the values for y, there's two of them, isn't there? There's one at the top and there's one at down the bottom because it's a circle. So that's why you get two values for y. So the answer would be this. Y equals plus or minus square root of root 7 take 1. So that's that question. Let me erase that. Hope you've written it in. If not, pause the video. Alright. Now let's do the next bit. And this is, most of these two pages is just examples. What is the equation of the circle with center -2, -1 and radius 4 in general form? Right, we don't know how to go into general form, but we do know how to go into standard form, so we're going to do that first. So that's exactly the same circle as this one. Alright, unfortunately I rubbed out the thing, but it was x plus 2 all squared plus y plus 1 all squared equals 16. Alright, and if you didn't have part A of this question, you would have to just, say this is the equation in standard form. So you just have to expand this. Now remember, if you've got anything plus b all squared is going to equal a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Alright? You can do this now. A is x, so we get x squared. Plus 2 times ab, so that's going to be 2 times x times 2 plus b squared, so b squared is 2 plus b squared. Alright, and then similarly for the y squared thing, so it's going to be y squared plus 2 times 1 times y, which is 2y, plus 1 squared equals 16. Alright, so again I'm just going to go down here, so I'm going to get x squared plus 2 plus 4x, so we go 2 times x, 4x, plus 4 plus y squared plus 2y plus 1 equals 16. Alright? And so therefore I get x squared plus y squared plus 4x plus 4y plus 4x plus 2y plus 1 take 16 because I want to get 0 on my right hand side equals 0. So I've just taken 16 over to this side. Alright? So I end up with x squared plus y squared. Did I not factorize that properly? I think I did. X squared. Oh, I missed out a plus 4 in there, I think. Yeah. And I'll just rearrange it. I missed out a plus 4. X squared plus y squared plus 4x plus 2y plus 5 take 16, which is take 11 equals 0. And that's my equation in general form. Alright, I hope that makes sense. Here, if you're thinking, well, where did she get over this from? X squared there, x squared there, y squared there, y squared there, 4x is there, 4x is there, 4 is there, 4 is there, 1 is there, 1 is there, 2y is there, 2y is there. That's where everything comes from. Alright? That's that one. Not too bad, just a bit of expansion. Alright. Now, you probably did completing the square. Alright? But it might have been a little while ago, so you might have forgotten it. So we're going to go through a couple of examples of completing the square. Alright, so the first one is a really simple one. It's only got x and y. X in it, doesn't have y. When you complete the square, I'm going to write out a list of steps. Step 1. Alright, divide by the coefficient of the squared term. Divide by the coefficient. I'm going to write these a bit lower. So step 1, divide by the coefficient of the squared term. Alright, that's step 1. Step 2, take the constant to the left hand side. And keep on going down here. 3. Create a perfect square by adding b on 2 squared to both sides. Alright, so by adding b on 2 squared to both sides. Now b on 2b, we think of the equation in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. Alright, b is the coefficient of this x term. Alright, so that's what the b on 2 squared is. Hope you can read that. So now let's do that with this one. And I'm going to start from up here. So I'm going to start with this equation up here so I don't run out of space. There's going to be 2x squared plus 3x. And this example is not to do with our topic, it's just to practice the skill because you're going to do it in the next bit. 2x squared plus 3x plus 4 equals 0. Alright, step 1, divide by the coefficient of the squared term. Now I've got to divide every term on this left hand side by that. So I'm going to get x squared plus 3 on 2x plus 4 divided by 2, which is 2, equals 0, because 0 divided by 2 is 0. Alright? Step 2, take the constant to the left hand side. That's going to be x squared plus 3 on 2x. You take everything that doesn't have x to the left hand side. X squared plus 3 on 2x equals negative 2. Step 3, create a perfect square by adding b on 2 squared to both sides. Alright, if we go b on 2 squared, in this case it's going to be 3 on 2, because b is actually 3 on 2 in this case. Alright. Just 3 on 2, beautiful, squared to both sides. Now if we've got something like this, remember the rule far by far, near by near. So if you've ever got a fraction divided by another fraction, that is the same as multiplying these together, the fars by the fars, dividing that by the nears multiplied together. So I'm going to do that here. This is really 2 over 1 down the bottom, so it's really going to be Powered by 5 is going to be 3.